Hey, welcome to the ZILDJIAN Workout. My name's Davila. I'm here from Nashville, Tennessee today. Very excited and honored to be a part of this program, the ZILDJIAN Workout. I hope you've checked out all the other videos. There's some great stuff out there to just keep us all seeing different exercises, different fundamentals, and making us better collectively here at the ZILDJIAN Company. Okay, so I've got 4 or 5 exercises to bring to you today. Certainly they work as an independent exercise, or you can take these and work with them in your drum line as well. So there's a value for both of those experiences. So I want to invite you to play along today. The premise of these workouts is to do less talking and more playing. So let's get started. So this first 8s exercise is just a little bit of a variation on 8s, where you play 8 notes on the beat, 1 and 2, and then we throw it to the E's and the U's as well, just to sort of reinforce that alternating, sticking fundamental that we use throughout alternating strokes. Okay, here we go. Here's 110, number 1. You're going to play this at 4 different dynamics on the page, right? Piano, mezzo, forte, forte. 1, 2, 1, 2. Switch it to the left. New dynamic. So that's the basis of the exercise. 4 different dynamic ranges, trying to work off that momentum. Try not to interrupt flow, right? If we can start it and establish it, then we want to just maintain it. Let's go to, let's say 134, just to take a little bit bigger of an increment to save time for this session. Here we go. 1, 2, 1. Certainly every tempo has different challenges, right? So slower, sometimes it's just placing the rhythms, right? And trying to get a consistent sound with a little bit slower hand speed, which can be a little bit more difficult. Then faster, because faster we have a lot of momentum that works for us. The faster we go, it's a little trickier to just get those to stay in time. So here we go, 150. Let's take a little bit of a boost again. Still 4 dynamics. 1, 2, 1, 2. 160. Let's go 3 dynamics. 3, 6, 9. 1, 2. It's just a good little warm-up. It's great to do with the drum line, just to get that, keep working on that timing and that sort of fundamental approach of how our hands move in the alternating sticking. Okay, hey, so let's go on to some accent tap, okay? To me, accent tap is one of the fundamental things that we have to continue to work on. It seems like a simple concept, but it's really instrumental to all the even more advanced skills that we do, and even most of the flam language as well. So spend a lot of time on that accent tap, spend a lot of time in the slow tempo. That's where you really burn in really good mechanics, okay? This accent tap exercise is essentially what I call bucks. Downstroke, down, up, and then up, down. Okay? But what we do is we move those kind of through the 16-note 4-2-1 grid. Okay? So in this exercise, there's a little bit of coordination too. We're going to keep a pulse in one hand while the other one plays. So the first pattern is downbeat bucks, or accent tap. Alright, right on the downbeat. The second pattern is the same mechanics scooted over a 16th note. So E's and U's, E, but if I don't count that, essentially it looks just like 1 and 2 and 3, and move sounds look just like that. Alright, the third pattern goes to the upbeat, which is an upstroke first. So we go into, here's our pulse. Okay, so just up, down, right on the 8 notes. And then we scoot it over 16 note. 1 E, up to 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 E. Alright, and we do that on both hands, okay? So we're going to flip it. We're going to 4-2-1 on the right, and then 4-2-1 on the left, okay? Alright, let's start at a slower tempo, 1-10, just to kind of burn in those mechanics. Then we might even want to go a little slower than that. Let's say just for the first couple reps through 106. Okay, so remember we're keeping the pulse here. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Pulse goes to the right hand, play it off the left. Fours. Twos. Ones. Back to the right, let's do that again on 106. The left. 106. That's the basis of the exercise, okay? You can even go way slower. I mean, I recommend in the beginning. Really feel those partials, okay? Great exercise for bass drummers, right? In particular because they're gonna isolate each one of those partials quite a bit in their playing. And this actually essentially becomes what the feet would be. All right, let's move up to, let's take a jump up to like 118. I normally wouldn't take those big leaps metronomically, but you know, for sake of time today, we're just gonna take like each exercise through a couple different tempos. Okay, so this is 118. So here's our 8 note, 1 and 2 and 3. E, 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 E. 1, 2, and 1. Down a little bit. We just want to make sure this stays consistent, all right, and it kind of grooves a little bit too. We find that groove in it. 1, 2. was a good accent tap exercise for you. Certainly it kind of sets your hands up in a great place to then work on the alternating 4-2-1 grid off the right or off the left, right? Because If you left lead it, you're going to go through all those kind of left-hand lead versions. All right? Okay, hey, next up we're going to do some stick control. Love stick control, right? It's kind of like a vitamin for us, I think. It's never ending, striving for great stick control and good sounds. The way we're going to do this exercise, it's a 7/8 exercise, pretty common pattern that you may have done. It's 2-2-3, 2-3-2, 3-2-2. So if you think of a 7/8 pattern, it has groupings of 2s and 3s, right? 2-2-3. Then we're going to move the 3 to the middle, 2-3-2, and then the 3 to the front, 3-2-2. We're putting paradiddles on 2s and double paradiddles on 3s, okay? So the way we're going to do this, we're actually going to try to do this stick control down at 3 inches, really kind of honing in on our tap height and the quality of sound down here at 3 inches. Okay, and then that's going to be one pass through at 3, trying to get those alternating exchanges and the doubles, all right, to sound the same, have the same ceiling. That's what we're striving for. The second pass right into accent. Okay, trying to accent those paradiddles and those double paradiddles. Essentially trying to maintain that quality even when we add the accent patterns in. Something I see a lot of is students that once they throw the accents in, they're either, two things happen. Their taps come too high, or the unaccented notes, because of maybe too much squeeze on accents, are almost too low. They don't have any body, they don't have any resonance to them. They become this kind of a tap sound, as opposed to that kind of a resonant tap sound. Now, the idea is that you should be able to kind of manipulate any range, right? If I want a little bit softer taps, I can manipulate that, right? If I want a little bit more of a resonant body, I can manipulate that. If I want a little closer to like accent taps that aren't too far apart, there's just a little inflection, can manipulate that, right? So the idea is that we're essentially doing all these fundamentals to kind of train our hands to be able to call up whatever we want. All right, here we go. Here's stick control. We're going to do our first tempo, 126. 1, 2, 1. Kind of take a bigger jump, 126 to, let's say 138, okay? 126 to 138, 12 markings, okay? Another strategy I love to do on stick control is the hand separate. And you can really, that helps you sort of just find that flow, right, in that single hand pattern. So if I were to hand separate this exercise, like really to isolate too, is my color the same between my right hand and my left hand, or between my singles and my doubles. So I'm really trying to isolate those sounds, okay? So hand separate's a great diagnosing tool. Here we go, 138. So here's our... let's go 150. So again, hands separate. Tempo, let's go 160. I might just do this once or twice again. Okay, one. So here's our tempo. So that's stick control, great exercise. Certainly a lot of people do stick control up here in that 9 and 12. All different ways that you can use that. There's a great book, Stick Control, that I'm sure that you may have heard of. I just think it's a never-ending process for us to strive for all those like single to duple exchanges to work towards same sounds, same colors. Okay, hey, next up is this 7-stroke roll buildup that I like to do. We basically start with the first pattern is a downbeat bucks, just like we did in our second exercise. So notice how I think percussion is like algebra, right? Like one pattern or one exercise that you learn, eventually you build upon that into all different kinds of other language. We keep using it. So here's the accent tap. All right, and then the second measure, we're going to throw in the first 3-note figure of the exchange of a 7-stroke roll. The third measure is add the first drag, add the second drag, and then fill in the 7. And then on count 2, we're going to flip it to the left and do that over. So the switch is we release, play 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 3-note exchange, diddle, 5, 6, and then we flip it back again on count 2. Okay? For the sake of this video, we'll do 2 reps before we cut. Okay? Here we go. First tempo. We're going to do 3 tempos on this today. So here the first tempo is 100. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Let's keep it going a couple times. right, so it's a great build-up exercise. You can tell when the mass increases, when you go into those 5s and 7s, sometimes we really have to negotiate a little bit of an energy change, right? Because this is, we're not really moving much mass, but then, even though we want to stay in the same tempo, we're moving a little bit more mass. It's going to cause us to use just a little bit different of an energy. All right, here we go, 110. Same exercise, we'll do it several times before we cut. 1, 2, 1, 2. Patterns in that is the 5 actually, because you don't quite have the momentum of the 7 of that motion. Once you fill it in, you have that too. And that little bit of a difference going from the double to the single, just it feels just a little different in the hands. All right, and one more tempo, 120. If you feel like you have to bring your heights down to facilitate this tempo, then you can nudge those accent heights down just a little bit. Here we go. And 1, and 2. So it's a great 7-stroke roll build up. Certainly, again, you can hand separate that a little bit. What's a little different than that, we all know this exercise. It's just kind of a same motion, but the rhythm here is almost like a sextuple. And this exercise is very duple. A duple diddle. And not so there's a little fine difference between the two. All right, hey, last exercise up is going to be this fun 7/8 flam exercise. Okay, so this next 7/8 exercise is a little different from the stick control 7/8. The groupings are a little bit different. All right, so if you look at the PDF download, you see they're in groupings of 4s and 3s. So 43, 43, 34, 34. So I think of them as like a number, 43. So I can think of it like almost as a word rather than really trying to keep up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I just picture that 43, 43, 34, 34. So let's just do the check a couple times together. All right, 1, 2, kind of slow, check, 2. Again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4. Slow it down a little bit. 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4. All right. So you can essentially do anything with that pattern, right? It's just a check pattern. You can put diddles, tap drags, roll it all. I like it for a roll exercise. And then lots of flam language can go in there. So that's how we're going to use it today, just to end this session on a little bit of flams. So we're going to do the check pattern. We'll put flams on the accents. Then we'll cheese it, which is an accented flam with the diddle. And then we're going to flam drag it, which is actually adding just one more diddle to make it a flam 5. Okay, so we're going to do 3 different tempos. And let's just have fun with this little flam exercise. It's a fun 7/8. Feels fun in the hands. 2 and 1, 2. Not sure if I said this is 98. Let's move up to 108. 1, 2, and 1. More time here at 108. And one more tempo. Let's go 118. Again, with certain tempos and we're moving kind of a lot of mass like a flam 5. If you have to bring your accents down, the important thing is that we want to feel still the same inflection, but we don't want to come across as too labored. That's going to sound like a too squeezed off grip. All right, so let's just keep it. Think about inflection more than just impact of accents. Okay, here we go. Thanks so much for joining me on the ZILDJIAN workout. It's been a blast. I hope that you found a few things, a few little nuggets you can take away. Make sure you check out everybody's videos. There's some great stuff out there, and ZILDJIAN's going to make us better together. All right, take care.